Today's a very unusual day. Sort of was running behind, had a lot of stuff, couldn't get all the graphics in and all the time on board. A little frustrated. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything good? You can chime in there if you can hear me okay. Great. All right. So we had a little bit of an issue this morning trying to get some of the graphics in and the computer started and all that kind of good stuff. But it's been one hell of a week. Let's get started. What are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about, we're going to show some of the numbers, not just tell you about the numbers. We're going to show you some of the numbers throughout the website and what's been going on and how everything, there are so many numbers, it's not even funny, right? So if you don't get a lot of time to be able to put all these things together, especially with all the great things that are happening and all the people that we're trying to help, you sort of get tossed behind a little. So I'm going to start showing you some of the numbers as well as show you some of the results here that have been doing really good. We're going to talk about our new senior trader. I don't even see her in the chat yet, but I told her about it already that we were going to do this today. So if she's not here, that's okay, because I know she has a lot of stuff that she's doing. We're going to talk about the Pro Trader Room and Pro Signals page, of course. Some new things that are coming board for that. And we're going to talk about taking your money. Yeah, no, not me taking your money. I probably should have reworded that a little bit. But we're going to talk about taking your money, taking my money, whatever it is, however you want to look at it. But the idea here is really, when do you take your money? When do you scalp? When do you not? When do you let it go? When do you go to expire? All that stuff. All right. In the middle of the week, I said I was going to do something funny for this. I just didn't have enough time to prepare. I had done all the reading. I hadn't sped it up. I was going to do this whole crazy chipmunk sound of it to have it done in like 1.2 seconds, but didn't work out. But maybe next week. So let's get to it. Trading in financial instruments carries a high level of risk to your capital, with the possibility of losing more than you initially invest. So trading in financial instruments may not be suitable for all investors and is only intended for people over 18. Please ensure that you are fully aware of the risk involved and, if necessary, seek independent financial advice. The past or recent trading performance of any stock, security, commodity, or derivative is not necessarily indicative of future profits and losses. We do not and cannot guarantee the use of our services will generate you profits. We do not and cannot take responsibility for any losses to your accounts. And you must trade and take sole responsibility to evaluate all information provided by this website and to the use of your own risk. And trading information we provide is intended as trade assistance only or education. And of course, all results may vary. Don't worry, Brian. You could do that here. But all results may vary. The weekly wrap up. Again, I didn't have a lot of time to do the graphics, so I don't have all the bells and whistles running at this time, right? But let's talk about the 2020 signals. We had our very first week, Sunday night, they came out, and man, are they great. Yeah, you can look at 90% of not being great, but I want to show you something here, right? 146 signals, 136 wins, 14 losses. But really? Was it really 14 losses? Let's have a look. Da, da, da. Okay, so this is my journal of the signals here, right? Okay, so they started out on the 5th of June, right? I think the 5th of June. Was it the 5th of June? I think it was the 5th of June. Yes, it was the 5th of June, and they go to the 10th. I didn't even count the last ones anything that will come out for the rest of today. It usually goes on the next week, but these weren't out last week, so they didn't have no other information. So when I compile it all out, these are the losses, right? These are the. Ooh, I made it. Okay. Oh, I see what I did. All right. Hang on one second. Let me fix that. Ding. All right. There we go. 14 losses, right? But if I take all the buys and anything that's in within 2 pips, because there's a difference in indicative on a Nadex. So if you're trading on Nadex, the indicative in difference is about 2 pips. Okay. So let's just say 2 pips. Sometimes it might be more, 2.5, might be even more than that, right? So on a buy, if you took this signal, you won because it was 0.1. You took this signal, you won. Took this signal, you won. Took this signal, you won. Took this one, you won. This one, you won. Well, that was a sell, so then you didn't win that one. But this one and this one. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of 14 losses, let's redo that. Okay, 146, and so you took 6 off, so that left 8. So let's see here. So Is that okay? So 138 divided by 146 equals 94%, 94.5. That's what our true 2020 win ratio was last week. And that, my friends, is money in the bank. Money in the bank, right? Because if you're taking $20 or $30 per trade, okay, if you're getting an average of 20, say $22 per trade, some people are doing a little bit more, 25. Mine's pretty high as well. I think I got it to like 24. Okay. So let's just say that. Let's just say 24, right? And you're able to get in to, you don't have to go, you're not going after every single one, right? This isn't about trading every single trade, every single signal, but trading in your times. And if you're doing well, okay, if you're doing well, then you're going to reduce the amount of trades you're doing to increase your success rate, to increase your consistency. And the cool thing is, I said this in the pro trader room earlier, is that right now I think I got up to, I forget what it was 100 plus, like 119 or 114 or something like that. I had to go back and check my logs again because I thought I had it right in the pro trader room. But 114 trades with no losses for me. And the reason being is because I'm not going after every single one. I'm not putting 3 or 4 trades on board. But what I am doing is that I'm making more money because I have more money in my account and I'm doing more contracts, okay? Because in my corporate account, I make a ton of money, where my personal account, I kind of just do just a little bit, right? And on the corporate account, making that much money, making money is only coming to that way because, not because I'm doing more trades, but because I'm doing more contracts. That's basically it. I'm not doing any more trades on my personal account than I am on my corporate account and vice versa. So why does my corporate account make so much more money than my personal account? Well, it's because I provide the consistency plus volume equals gold mentality. And that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be asking, how many signals can I get in a day? No, that's not the question. The question is, how many signals can you take that you make sure are perfect? Perfect, right? That's what we're really after. Consistency, fluidity, that you're able to go from trade to trade to trade to trade to trade. I've traded 114 times and haven't lost. What's my wins for this week, right? Again, I didn't have enough time today to go through put all the graphics. So usually I have all this stuff in all my screens and withdrawals and all that stuff, right? I made $785 this week on 16 trades. Placed about 32 contracts. Average per contract, $24. That was Sunday to Thursday. I haven't even traded today. I usually don't trade on Fridays. Sometimes I do if there's like like an NFP or something, or I really feel itchy, or I just want to do something, or I have the time. But yeah, I start trading for Sunday night. Even Sunday night, I didn't trade very much. I think I did 1 or 2. Right? So 4 days a week, $785. That come out to about a month. Let's see, 785 times, can't just say times 4. 4.8, about $3,700 a month for me, right? And that's okay. It's not a lot of money. Well, could be to some, but for me, that's not a lot of money. But it's still enough for me to be consistent that I can use that money to pay for $3,700 worth of mortgage and bills and tuitions and college and for babies that ain't even here yet. You might be struggling at that level. You might need more money for yourself at that moment, or that might be more than everything you need wrapped up in a bag of nuts, right? But it really comes back down to one thing's very important for you as a trader is to find that line. This came to me, and here's where a lot of people go wrong, okay? And this is why I try to keep it down to a certain level. Could I go more? Yes. If legally, I'm not allowed to show you my corporate account. So I show you my personal account. But if I were to lead out forward with my corporate account, how many of you would try to chase that? Answer honestly. How many of you would really try to chase that kind of money? okay? Because I made 4 times as much, okay? I'm not allowed to show you, but I can sort of tell you. All right. Actually, it was a little bit more than that because I had one in there that was a spread, long-term spread, which made close to $250 in one contract. Yeah, long-term. I trade a little differently on some of that stuff in the corporate account. But the idea here is to think, to get yourself to a point to be able to trade consistently and then follow that line by only adding volume to how many you do. It's not about taking undue risks during the trade. It's not about choking up an extra one. It's not about throwing in 50 more trades a day. It's not about taking a week off of work and trying to trade as much as you can. It's about becoming consistent. I could take a part-time trader and have him making more money doing it part-time. Because really, is this part-time? Sunday to Thursday, 16 trades. I worked an average probably about 20 minutes, 30 minutes on each trade, and then there's a lot of wait time. Is that part-time? The answer is hell yeah. You want to know somebody who full-time trades? Paul David. My God, the man's a machine. But out of that, how much does he really work? He probably puts in a lot of time and a lot of waiting, a lot of verification, top-down analysis, and he does his thing. But over a period of about 14, 15 hours for the day, he puts in several trades a day, and he does his thing, and that's your prerogative. But for me, keeping it minimal, consistent, and fluid, consistency, consistency, consistency. That's what I do. And for me, it works because I know now that I can spot what does work 90% or more trades. Keeping it from, taking my money when it's ranging, those kind of things. Okay. Crashing out, making sure that I don't go in for, my mistakes are very minimal now. I rarely will ever make a mistake because I'm looking at 3 things before I even go. It's, it's like checking for your car keys, your wallet, and, So it's like checking for yourself before you leave the house. You got these things going. And when I trade, I make sure that I'm present. And those are the things. That's the best advice that I can give anybody who's watching this right now. New senior trader. I don't know if she's even in the room. Nope, not even in the room. That's okay. Vivian Edwards. And most of you know her. She is an awesome lady. I don't even want to tell you anything really about her other than she is a wonderful woman that I've known for a long time. And she's one of our partners from the MBD Marketing Group, as well as she will now be a partner in the OCI network as well. And she's the queen of 5-minute trades. And I'll have to let her tell you about that. But when we were going through the Trader Mind series, she was just whooping butt on those 5-minute trades. Right? So you'll see her in a room. She'll have senior trader. She'll have senior next to her name. Okay. If you look at Brian H in the chat room, it'll say like elite, like he has in the chat room right there. It'll say senior. Okay. And this means that she gets afforded a whole bunch of other things too. She'll get to know what the inside of the code is. She'll get to know some of the directions, things that we're doing. She'll get to invest in the different things that we're doing, the earns. She may even opt in to be a actual trader for us. Somebody who trades on some of our corporate accounts and stuff. All that comes with time. All that comes with trust. Now, becoming a senior trader or an elite trader doesn't mean you're infallible. It doesn't mean that you can't make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you don't lose. It means, how do you act when you do make a mistake? How do you act? What do you do when you do lose? What happens when don't you even say it, Brian? What do you do when things go awry? How do you handle controversy? How do you handle people? How do you handle yourself when things aren't going? Do you take a break? Or do you just keep trying to power through? All these things define us. And I see it. I talk to you guys. I try to reach out to each one of you when you're in the pro trader room. First and foremost, the biggest hint that I can give you, be in that pro trader room. If you're watching this and you don't even know what I'm talking about, you better go figure it out. Because if you're not in the pro trader room, then you're missing out. Not just on experience, not just on help or doing the trades, but you're missing out on opportunity. And that opportunity is staring you in the face. Pro Trader Room is under the Signals Pro Signals area. Or Signals Pro Signals. It's also just under Pro Trader. Oh, it's going to let me in. It says I'm not a pro. Let's see if I can redo this. This happens to me all the time. I apologize. Because I'm an admin on the site, it wants to make sure that I really want to go in there. Okay, it's right here. Now this Pro Trader Room is very powerful. So we're going to go over some of that information here in a few minutes. Okay, that's how you get to it. So congratulations, Vivian. If you're watching this after the fact, congratulations. You have earned every second of it, and how far you've come. Oh, there we are. Pro Trader Room, lots of people. Lots and lots of people are coming. So if you're a senior or an elite trader, sorry, I had to take a sip of coffee. If you're a senior or an elite trader, I want to give you a little word of warning, okay? Is that everybody who comes in there, not every single buddy is going to be best buds and leader of the free world, okay? Not everybody that comes in there is going to be knowledgeable. Not everybody that comes in there is going to understand or follow or have gone through the training. Some people skip it. Some people skip it and come in there and ask questions directly. You know, and you usually see this, but hey, listen, I haven't really done any of the training yet, but why doesn't this work? And that's the usual way that most people are used to handling things when they get in there. So if you see new people coming into the Pro Trader Room and they have questions, if you got elite or senior trader to your room, now keep in mind, just because you have those by your name doesn't mean you have to answer questions. Go silent. Okay? It might be easier too to just say, talk to Max. Go to the chat room. You know, that's down to the right hand side of the page. You all know where that's at. It's right here. Oops, hang on a second. It's right here. Have them go here. Have them ask questions. Have them go to Pro Booking and set a booking time to consult with me. That's how you can help. But if you're too busy, or if you're into a trade, or you don't want to be bothered, or just getting too inundated, pull back some. That's okay. You don't have to answer. If somebody asks you directly, or somebody clicks on you, you can also tell them that you're busy and you're doing trades. Please contact Max. Okay? Or you don't even have to answer. Some people take a hint, I hope. So people with questions, you don't necessarily have to answer, but if you can, please do so respectfully. Most people they're asking the question because they don't understand. If they didn't do training, try to send them there first. Okay? You have to also understand where they come from. Like some of you came from other companies that didn't help them, other companies that promised them the world but couldn't give them the backyard. They got ripped off. They got taken advantage of. They got made to buy into international binaries. They got whatever. If somebody has an issue with anything that we're doing, if somebody comes in and starts complaining or bitching or moaning or screaming in the trader room, contact me directly. You all have my phone number, email, Skype. Send a carrier pigeon. I'll get them out. Negativity is not allowed at all. Because if you're upset and you're in there and you're ranting and raving and pissing and moaning, you ain't doing anybody good. I am the ultimate fixer. Okay? If you have a problem, if you have an issue, if you have something you need direction on, I will do whatever I can do to find the answer. So most of you know that. But going in and ranting and raving, screaming and hollering, oh, I can't get into a trade, and I just lost a trade, or my sister won't let me in my room. I don't know. The whole point is that if you got issues, come to me. Contact me. The phone number's on the website, the email address, Skype name. There's not much more that I can do from that point. I'm glad Phil says that just getting going and on the training helped a lot already. There's going to be a little bit of change in the training module. We're putting a learning center up front. We're going to take the membership portal and kind of do that. We're going to trade that around. Pro Signals area, it's not really going to change, but the spreadsheet's going to change. I thought we were going to have it done by today, but we did. So I do apologize. It's being worked on now. We will have some of the process. It's gonna be huge, huge. But it's going to be very, very powerful on the spreadsheet because we're going to have filterable, filterable data. You'll be able to filter out the different pairs, the hit ranges, all that stuff. So when you're trying to find stuff. And David W. is right. Watch the videos 2 or 3 times if you can. But you can always go back. You can always check stuff out. You can see how things, once you start training, okay, learning and training are 2 different things, right? You're learning, you're watching the videos, you're learning where everything is at. Training is the physical act of doing. Now you're trading in demo, you're taking trades, you're taking profits, you're taking losses, you're figuring shit out. You have to go in and learn and then train. And if you don't train, if you don't give your time to train, you will fail, right? Because trading live minus training equals 0. All right, another algorithm equals 0. You'll also find that learning how to navigate and figure stuff out and work with Nadex and work with the process through that Nadex Ninja series that's in the Learning Center. You all should be going through those systems in there. Take advantage of them. They're there for you. There's more coming, right? There's a lot more coming. But just clicking on the Learning Center here, this is actually where it's going to be in the membership portal. Is going to take a little hit here. And people are going to, this is where people are going to come for orientation. And then you'll have all the stuff in here. You'll have your basic training, you'll have your pro training. You have basic and pro is basically is melding together. You know that, right? So I'm just going to have it all just in, because here's the orientation, and then it'll be signal training, okay? Pro signals training, whatever it's called. And then all these series will be here, okay? Money, Mind, and Time and Price are coming soon. I started to get most of them in there, but just couldn't finish them in time. There's so much happening. But Ninja Trader's Mind, Nadex Ninja, and MetaTrader Mayhem, they're in here for now. Lots more to come, of course. And did I get, yeah, I did. All right, so what's next? Learning to take your money. All right, so this concept, and I'm Max Farrell, and this is Dex Signals. This concept of learning to take your money, whether or not you're brand new or you've been trading for a while, is the toughest thing ever, because you have like a constant battle, good versus evil, little angel on each shoulder, little devil on the other shoulder, trying to figure out, when do you take my money? When do you say that little plus, okay, that little plus in the profit margin area is so powerful. When do I take it? And I get a lot of people who ask me this. I just got into that trade and it jumped up to $22 profit margin. The most profit margin I can get in there is $36. And should I take that? And the answer is whenever you feel like it. Okay? Underline here, feel like it. Because there is no one answer for any one person. But here's when I feel like it. When I do a top-down analysis, when I go 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, okay? Or if I only got a half hour left and I go 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute. If anything is flat or in the opposite direction, and I got a good number on it, now I try to stay, if I have some contracts, if I have more than one contract on, I always try to stay more than 50% of my profit margin. Okay? I always try to stay about more than 50% of my profit margin. So if I got two contracts in there and they're $20 a piece and I'm at $21, that's more than 50%. Okay. If I got one contract and I got it for $20, but I got a profit in there of 10, I'll take that if it's contradictory. If the market is ranging, right? So that means that a market that's in a trend goes up like that or it goes down like this, right? A market that's ranging will kind of look like this, right? And if that market's ranging and I got in on like something like here and it's got a nice even range all the way across and my mark's here and I got good profit margin on it, oh man, I'm going to take it. I mean, not wait for it to expire. But that only comes with training. That only comes with knowing what the market does and how to look for those things. And those things come with time. Are you close to a support and resistance line? We kind of did a couple of numbers on these on how to do support and resistance. And this will be in the new time and price. Is that what it was? Yeah, time and price series. Is there news? Right? So if I get into a trade and I get into it here, and here's the expiry, and news is right here, and my price is up here, and I got good profit margin on this, this scares me, right? Because it could suck out the profit, it could just drop it all the way down or do whatever. In some cases, if I'm approaching news, yeah, you could take a chance that the news will be good or be in your favor and it'll keep going up, yay for you. But how much can you rely on that? Even seasoned traders can't rely on that. I'll take my money. I'll scalp that bad boy right out. Now, when does this usually happen? When does the money usually get into a profit? And there's no real good answer, but in most cases, what I have noticed about a quarter to halfway into the trade. So if it's an hour trade, right around the half hour mark, if you got good money on it, if you're over your 50% or even close to your 3/4% or 3/4 through the 75%, then you might want to look at taking your money. Right? If another signal comes out that seems really powerful and you got good money you can get in on, and this one's kind of doldrum at $20, you might take your 15 or 20 bucks. You might take your 10 bucks. There's some of you that wait to get to a halfway above it and you take your money anyway, no matter if it's ranging or if it's not. Remember what I said in the very beginning, whenever you feel like it. And I don't care how technical you can get, but once I get it to 32.5%, I'm going to take my money. It doesn't matter. That's a feeling. Technically, there's no answer for Nadex. You already understand how much you can win and how much you can lose at any one time. The idea now is when do you zap that out? Now, on the flip side of this, okay, on the flip side of this, when do you take your loss, right? Now, if you're taking a 20/20 trade and you've followed all the rules, you've gotten in more than 90%, you've gotten into the deal, it's all good. You've got a great opportunity, okay? Because here's what happens sometimes. Sometimes we set out our trade, okay, for a buy, okay, and here's our expiry. Sometimes it does this, right? And you all freak out. You're like, I better get out. If you're into a 20/20, you better let that sucker ride. If you walk away from your thing or whatever happens, because if you've gotten in at the 90% or more, and if you've gotten into a trade that all looks good, you've maybe done even a little top down analysis, who knows? Okay, but if you've done all your work, if you've done it all right, ride it out. The reason being is because when this stuff starts to happen, it's a test. It's a test of the zone, the test of the range. Okay. And so sometimes it might beat down below there. Sometimes it might just come back up and in. But the point is that the success rate is what leads you. Now, why won't you, if that's true, then why don't you just keep everyone to expiry? Because you take your money when you feel like it, right? And if you feel like it, there's some of you that just set and forget it and walk away. Some of you that place money working orders on and you don't even look back. Yay for you. You're a type of a trader, and that's awesome. But again, your way may not be David Whistler's way or Phil's way or Paul's way. Since you are one of those people. So let's quickly go over the overview of 2020, okay? Do not grab anything under 90%. Even though that 80% is really been awesome, okay? 80% is still really good in the world of trading, even for Nadex. Okay, depending on how much you get your contracts for. Okay, so don't get anything under that. Now, on that note, when will it? If you got a trade, right? Let's see if I can get us in here. Let me look at these here real quick. And just so that most of you know, some of you don't yet, the idea of the percentage is off of the last 100 trades for that pair. And so and if you notice in the very beginning of the week, the Euro JPY was down like 86%, and now it's back up to 90 something percent, because over the last 100 trades, losses have fallen off. Okay. Things have fallen off of that pairs or that assets ratio. Okay. And as you can see, this week has been a really pretty damn good week. We only got a couple pairs, the British Gold Pound JPY, what else is there? Euro British Gold Pound at 85, 86 for Euro British Gold Pound. Oh, and I think that's it. I think everything else is above 90%. So it's kicking ass. Euro JPY just got over and was just invigorated up above it. Now, does that mean that you're not going to lose? No, it doesn't mean you're not going to lose, but you have so much more of a chance to win when doing so. Okay. Secondly, or thirdly, do not choke up on a 2020. Whenever a signal comes out for the 2020, they are set to a range. Hey, listen, if you're on a daily, the range is like this. If you're on an intraday, the range is like this. When you're on a 2020, the range is like this. Okay? Choking up is suicide. Because the chances of it, I mean, yeah, does it range out? Does it go? Yes, it does. They do. Okay, but you're taking a bigger gamble. Now, if you know what that gamble is, you could see that on top down, or you could see that on a trend, or you could see that in a process, and you know what you're doing, then do whatever you feel. Okay? But the idea here is that if you're going to follow the signals, follow them with the guidelines to become consistent. Every time you go outside that consistency, every time you play outside this zone here, you start playing with that and you're really relying on a direction, you are taking a gamble. You are taking another risk that is in something else. That's a different process altogether. Now, I'm glad I'm helping you find another process for yourself. But again, you can't come back and say, hey, Max, I lost your signal there because, oh, yeah, I choked up 4 chokes. Okay, then you didn't take our signal. Or I did it for an expiry 4 hours away. Don't push the expiry out. If you get to a 2020 signal and there's not a price there for you, put a working order on it then. If it's got a good range, if it's got a good direction, it's in the trend, everything's looking great, put a working order on it and watch it, right? If you don't have a good price and it doesn't feel good, then don't get into the signal. This is not your everyday signal company. I'm not going to hand pick and cherry pick every perfect signal for me, because some of you may want to take that signal. Some of you may want to push into it more, and that's okay. My suggestion is not to choke up. I say do not choke up. Okay? But for all you beginners, follow the guidelines first. Learn to make it. Learn to get there first before you start adding new rules in there. We had one gentleman here just recently. He's like, he came in board. I mean, he wasn't even here a day. And he's like, I decided that I was going to put that one in and try to straddle it and do this and do that. And I'm losing money. Why am I losing money? Well, because you're straddling things you don't know anything about yet. You're trying new things in a system that you just started. Stay with the guidelines. Stay with the process. It works. You don't have to take every signal. Every process doesn't mean that you got to make money on every tiny little morsel that comes over. What you have to learn to do is become so consistent and fluid with doing this. And what I mean by fluidity, I mean that you're able to jump onto your computer, get to the website, get to the lead, look at the process, put the money on, get the money on, send a work order, and not screw up. Because if you can't do that, you better not be in live. And that's one thing I'll tell even seasoned traders. Had this one gentleman here just 2 weeks ago yelling at me on the phone. I'm losing my goddamn money. Excuse my language. This is exact verbatim. Well, why is that? Why are you losing money? Because your signals ain't doing it for me. Okay, then what is happening? What are you doing? I already know how to trade. I already know how to do this. If you did, then you wouldn't be losing. You wouldn't be losing like that. Yes, there's losses in there. Yes, there's things that happen, but not like that. I mean, he was spouting off some big numbers too. And then I looked, hadn't done any of the training, just thought that he could take signals or whatever, was going at the money on intradays and wasn't paying attention to top-down analysis and a whole bunch of things. But his idea, and I don't blame him for being upset, because most people, when they come here, they're in the same kind of process of trying to figure stuff out. And depending on how that person's attitude really reflects to them, he felt he was in the right by being mad. At the end of the conversation, he's a good customer now. Okay. All right. I'm going to answer questions here at the end, Brian. I'll get to that here in just a moment. Okay. But that's the end. So if you're watching this after the fact, okay, please do the training. I can't thank you enough for being here. Everybody else, I want you to stick around in the chat room for questions and answers. But everybody that is watching this after the fact, there is a tremendous amount of stuff coming. There is, in my final notes here, there's a tremendous amount of stuff coming for everybody. And I'm talking about spreads and educational signals for Forex. We're talking about the Traders app that we're developing very slowly. Okay, we definitely need investors for that. So if anybody's making good money yet and wants to invest in our trading app, then PM me. But we're looking for all kinds of help from traders to customer service people, everything. People who can kind of come in on an internship in the very beginning and sort of buy into the whole process is advantage for everybody. Okay, we're building a company here that is helping so many people. You can see it every day with the growth of the Pro Trader Room. However many people are coming in every day, you can see it. So if you're one of those people that want to be a part of a growing entity, a growing corporation that's there to help as many people, you're here. All right, no going anywhere. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you all trade well. I'm Max Farrell, and this is Dex Signals.